The Battle of Khyber Pass, or Khyber Pass, was an engagement fought in the mid-18th century between the Persian Empire of Nader Shah and the Mughal vassal state of Peshawar. The result was an overwhelming victory for the Persians, opening up the path ahead to invade the crown lands of the Mughal Empire of Muhammad Shah. The context: the first major military event of Nader's new reign as Shah of Persia was the conquest of Qandahar. Already Nader was in the process of concocting a pretext for an invasion of Mughal India, succeeding in capturing Qandahar and putting an end to Hotaki Afghan rule. He seized on the excuse that the Mughal authorities had been deliberately non-cooperative in handing over spies and fugitives from the Afghan army. Reza Khala, Nader's son, was appointed as viceroy and sent to Khorasan, freeing Nader to move east a day after towards Jalal Abad, where he made an encampment. At this point in time, intelligence reports came in that the governor of Kabul and Peshawar had raised an army of some 20,000, mostly Afghan warriors, and despite receiving no aid from Delhi was intent on resisting Nader's incursion upon his lands. The battle, the position that had been chosen to resist the Persian army, could scarcely have been better selected, as through the narrow pass of Khyber only a small column of men could hope to march, and any deployment into fighting formations would be an impossibility. Nader, being convinced of the futility of a head-on struggle, instead opted for a more refined approach. A local guide informed him of a difficult yet traversable pass running parallel to that of Khyber called the Pass of Chachubi. Setting out on November 26 from near Jalal Abad, the Persian army arrived at Barlkab, 33 kilometers from the Khyber Pass, where Nader divided his army, leaving Morteza Mirza behind with the bulk of the forces at his disposal and sending forth 12,000 men to the Khyber Pass under Nasrullah Khala, whilst he gathered a 10,000 light cavalry under his direct command. Beginning an epic flank march of over 80 kilometers through some of the most unnavigable terrain in Asia, Nader reached close to Ali-Masjed, whence the 10,000 curved their route of march northwards and onto the eastern end of the Khyber Pass. The Persian cavalry formed ranks and swept into a deadly charge against the startled forces, who, despite being twice their number, and resisting the initial shock of finding the Persians behind their positions, managed to somehow put up a valiant last stand before they were all either killed, taken prisoner, or fled the field of battle, leaving the governor of Peshawar to be made captive. The Russian general Kishmishev wrote of the campaign as a masterpiece of warfare. The consequences: soon after, both Peshawar and Kabul fell to Persian subjugation, and Nader marched against Lahore. The army which the governor of Lahore had arrayed against the onslaught of the invaders was routed when Nader pounced upon it from an unexpected direction, forcing the remainder to withdraw to the city walls and shortly afterwards surrender, as well as pay a heavy tribute in gold. The news of these catastrophes engulfed the authorities in Delhi in horror, as they sent frantic requests of troops and levies throughout northern India.